Hey,
What's up, Joe? How you doing, man?
good morning. Welcome, everyone.
All right. Hey, right out of the gate, Pete wants answers. Favorite ball python morph and why?
That's a tough one.
Got a lot of choices here. You could go a lot of ins and outs. What have
Can you
you?
Can you remind me of the different what would be a slew of morphs so that I could the names that I could choose from?
Can you name a morph? Let's go with any.
Piebald.
There you go. All right. Joe's been watching. Okay, that was pretty good. What's that one do?
Piebald is it's like there's like parts of it are like cream colored and parts of it are yellow.
Oh, look at Joe. All right. I think Joe gets, I think you pass, man. I think
there's albino.
Yeah, you got a little albino there. Okay.
Then you've got, I know that I've heard the word enchi.
Yeah, and she's pretty good. Get a little striping, a little orange color. That one does.
Oh, is that? Yes, yeah. What's that?
That one's a pattern disruptor and a little bit of a color enhancer. Yeah, there you go.
There's I know that there's an all like black kind of looking snake, right? Blackhead maybe or something.
Blackhead is a gene. It doesn't make it all black, but it is a gene.
Okay.
There's lots of arguments on like the blackest all black snake. So there's several combos that will do that. But yeah. All right. We will.
Okay. How did I do? Did I do okay?
Pete says A+. I agree. You did better than I thought you would do. I have to admit, Joe.
Well, why don't you think we've been talking about this for? Well, we talk about snakes,
right?
But just
sometimes
not morphs and my preferences for what kind of snakes there
are. As the non-reptile person in my life, you bear the burden of how most other non-reptile people behave, and they have no clue on that if that answer had come up or if that question had come up. That's why I just come to accept that most people, just start rolling their eyes and looking about the room when I start talking about snakes.
So let me ask you this: is the future still brightening allelic?
Combos,
combinations,
absolutely, big time.
Still the future.
Just came up the other night, man, on the Tuesday night show. There's a guy, Will Morose. He's a very Will wasn't on the show; he was in the chat. But a guy named Matt Burton was on the show, and he was talking about not specifically brightening, but definitely untapped allelic combinations and the value of those for sure.
Yeah, and so the values of them. So the brighter the combination, the more value it has. Is that what we're talking about?
No, brightening is mostly just to make you sound like you have an extra adjective in there. The allelic combination is really where the value is. So what that means is they will never a snake with an allelic combination will never produce a normal. So you instantly increase the value of your breeding stock because it's always, so there's two genes, whatever the allelic combo is, and it's always one. It's never both, but it's also never a normal. They're offspring.
And by normal, you mean what?
Normal is also known as some people call it the wild type or a classic. It is actually the most perfect ball python genetically in that it doesn't have any identified mutations. So all of these things that we try and breed for are mutations. And as we know from the X-Men, mutants often come with problems or challenges or superhero strengths. But the normals would be just the regular humans in the world.
And you're trying to go for more, the combinations. So you're trying to get more recessive displays, or not?
That's a matter of style. That's a matter of choice. So some people want lots of recessive. Some people want lots of dominant or codoms, we would call them. But really, that comes down to a matter of purpose. So for me, I want high contrast, ideally high colored, animals with very, very cool patterns. So I don't know, a spotted ball python would be a really cool, like a purely spotted ball python would be a really cool thing. So there's a gene called monsoon that makes a bunch of small little spots. Leopard tends to make more spots. So you at some point you start going, well, what do these ingredients, what happens if you mix yellow and blue and get green? You know, again, it's like artist palette, so to speak, where you can
Okay, I got you.
Work towards things.
Now, what's this lavender albino? What is that?
There's it's a type of albino, and I'm not trying to be obtuse here, as the word is that I learned from my good friend Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. I'm not trying to be obtuse. It is a line of albino that has a lavender hue to it. So instead of the white and the yellow, you would have more lavender and yellow. But if you put colors that normally add black or very dark colors, those become even more striking purples. Oranges become, in a normal color animal, Enchi, for example, if you put Enchi into lavender, it becomes this really pink and peach combination colors. So what a lot of people don't realize, myself included, is we think, even in humans, we think, well, there's just one kind of albino, but there's not. There's a family of mutations. There's color mutations and pigment mutations, and albinism is one of those things. But even within ball pythons, there's a classic kind that we just call albino. There's a lavender albino, a candy albino, and a rainbow albino, and I'm probably missing some others. Then there's like non-classic albino things like ultramel is a type of albinism, banana is a type of albinism.
This lavender albino I'm looking at right now looks really cool.
That'll get you to get in the game, won't it?
Well, let's see. But the problem is, I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
But I am colorblind.
Yeah. Well, a lot of men have that. I'm diagnosed colorblind as well, although I wouldn't, if you asked me, was I colorblind? I'd say absolutely not. If you ask my wife, if you ask Kelly, it's a running joke in my house of, hey, what color? Yeah. Hey, what color is that? So I have trouble with.
Well, I don't like, making fun of disabilities. I don't think that's.
We're just
that's
gathering.
Appropriate.
We're just data gets gathered on me. That's all. It's but people that don't have it, again, it's a nuance rather than I don't see stop signs and think that they're black and white. Like I can see color. I see color quite well, I think. But there are certain colors that I have no idea I don't see well that I've come to learn. Like grays. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So there are, I know what you're saying. Like I see colors. I just see like slight variations of them, I think, than most other people. But what it did to me as a kid was it made me less confident in my understanding of colors.
Yeah.
So I don't like to talk about colors because because I'm not confident in what I'm looking at, that it's the same colors that other people are looking at.
I empathize with that probably more than I'm conveying. I get that. Did you have like a diagnosis as a kid that you were colorblind?
Yeah.
So you were told you were colorblind, and now you're second guessing. It became like this. So I took one of those little circular tests that has the little dots, and you got to follow the path. And everybody watched me try to follow the path, and they were like, "Yeah, this kid doesn't have a clue." And I didn't. I could see I saw a lot of dots and a lot of colors, and I couldn't follow the path. There's a gene in ball pythons called pastel. That's not what I'm talking about. Shades of pastels are a nightmare for me. I can't tell the difference between them. And then grays and greens. I literally, to this day, I think our couch is a shade of green, and Kelly's like, "There's nothing green. That is a gray couch." Our home in North Carolina had tile.
That's funny.
Yeah, our home in North Carolina had tile stonework, and if you had asked me what color is the tile, I'd be like, oh, it has these cool like green streaks, same color as the couch. They match. No, not a bit. Nothing.
That's really not. That's actually pretty cool because the world is actually more colorful than people would say. The world is more colorful if you see green rather than gray.
I suppose, although the moments of discovery that Adam thinks it's green they don't go very well. I'll tell you that.
Why? Why don't they go well? Because you get angry?
No. I'm not going to get angry over it, but no, it's inevitably in a party when there's 6 people there going, Adam thinks that's green. Look how gray that is, So
yeah, but it makes me go, okay, well, it's all relative.
It is all relative. Yeah.
The most amount of people that were talking about a particular color at one point in the world said, we're going to call that color green. And that excluded some people who didn't see that color that way. It's all relative.
It is all relative.
We should have set this up a little bit better.
No, I know. Well, Pete threw me off, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get Joe. Joe wants to do open lines. Let's see what Joe's made of. I'm going to throw him right to the fire. All right, let's go all the way back to the beginning. We got to do our one things. We got to explain ourselves. What are we doing here? What the hell's going on?
This is Proper Cup of Joe, and I don't have any reptiles, and
I have lots of reptiles, and Joe seems to have questions. Oh, no, Pete, you're to be celebrated. No apologies. That was fantastic. That was just the kickstart I was looking for this week's episode. So Joe thought, Adam, why don't we do an open line Friday? And I was like, Joe.
Well, Thursday.
Yeah, well, that's true. We're not going to do an open line Friday. That's true. It is a Thursday. I often think of this as my Friday because really I don't do much work on Fridays. So this is kind of it for me. But I was like, Joe, I need a little more structure and process in my life. And Joe said, I think it'll be fun. They come every week. Why not involve them? And I said, well, I'm with you. You're an equal part of the show, and let's give it a shot. So we are throwing all caution to the wind. All structure, all of that to the wind. I do have some backup topics. If you all saw me distracted by my phone, I was like, you know what? I'm not going into this battle unarmed. I'm ready here. So
the point is, we've got people on the chat. Why don't we just go? Okay, what do you all want to talk about? What are your questions? I mean, it could be anything. I mean, we started out with a question, threw me a little curveball, and I must admit I cheated. Okay, I cheated. I have another screen that I was looking at. And
what did you, Joe? And you took the A+? Get out of here. All right. So what did you actually know? Did you know any of them, or you're just another?
No, I did know piebald. I did know Enchi. I did know those two.
All right. If you'd said piebald Enchi, I would have been floored. So, all right, I'll give it back.
I did know those two. Know those two. But then I looked it up, and there were other ones. Blackhead, I didn't know. I just threw that out there, and I shouldn't have. Gotcha. My apologies. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Pete feels bamboozled. And
I know.
So completely
somebody was like, he said Blackhead. That's awesome, and it's not awesome. I cheated. I'm a cheater, everyone. I'm sorry.
Joe's a cheater. What do you got for a one thing this week, man? How's life going right now?
One thing, yeah.
How is the tax world? This is as I understand it, this is like the Super Bowl, the March Madness of the tax world right now.
Yeah,
thick of it. What's going on?
So this is what I was going to say. It's getting a little nuts, and we've got new processes in place, and some people are on board, and some people are having a little bit of an issue, and it's a lot of like just trying to move forward and turn that wheel, keep moving forward with, and then If there's problems, if there's little issues, then I'm the one that has to figure out, how to make it better. So it's getting busy, on Friday night, Chelsea went out and hung out with a friend, and I was just going to work like the whole night and just keep going. It was going to be a terrible Friday night.
I like how you said it. I was going to. That implies to me that you didn't do that. Let's just say that.
No, and the person that brought me out of it was my stepson, Aiden. He came in and he was like, and I was fully prepared, not only to do work for the accounting firm, but to do some grading. And I'm taking this graduate class. I had to write a paper and stuff. So, but he came in, and my draw to just throw caution to the wind is so powerful. All he had to do was like, "Hey, it's just you and me." And I was like, "Yes, it's just you and me tonight." And he's like, "Let's go do something."
Oh, nice.
And it was just, I went out and hung out with Aiden. We went to dinner. It was great. It was great. It was like some of the things that we've talked about over the past 2 weeks is like carving out time to re-energize, carving out time to remind yourself of the things that you really love to do and the reason why you're doing the things that you do. Yeah. Sometimes it just takes somebody to go, "Hey, I'm excited to be with you. Let's just be together and have fun." Right. And that's what we did. It was great. I loved it. It was so fun on Friday. I loved it.
Where'd you guys go? Did you get into did you go to a brewery for dinner? You get into a little pizza? Did you go play some pinball? What'd you do?
How did you guess that? How would you have guessed that? We went to a brewery. He was he's only 17, but he loves going to breweries because there's crazy rich food there and fried food and all that stuff. He loves that kind of stuff. And I think he really likes the atmospheres there. I mean, yeah. I hope I'm not teaching him to be, too keen on alcohol. No, but he just likes the atmosphere there. And there's not, I don't know. So we went to a brew house in Dade City. And we ate and we met one of my friends over there, and it was a blast. It was so fun.
I bet I know the exact place you went to because some of the breeder dinners after Tampa Repticon shows. There's a guy, Steve Casino. He lives not far from Dade City, and we would go to a brewery right there on Main Street, kind of a big open room with a picnic table kind of set up there, and it's a good place. I've actually been in there before.
It was great. It was great. And music, there was live music, a guy playing guitar, and he was pretty good. But right at the very end, there was a local woman who he invited up to sing, and she was amazing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say terrible. I thought you were going to be like,
no.
Because you were like, he was pretty good, but then there was this woman. I thought this was going the complete opposite way.
No, he was good. He was playing good stuff, and then this woman got up and she sang, is Coal Miner's Daughter an actual song? I don't know. She sang that song.
Who is that? That's Tammy Wynette? That's good legit country song, man.
She was so fantastic. And it made me go, you think about where you are, where I am, this small little town, Dade City in Central Florida. And a woman gets up and just belts out this tune, and it's and she's just like a person in the crowd who's just hanging with her friends. It's amazing the kind of talent that is.
Damn it, I was so close. Thank you, Jen. Straighten us all out. I'm actually ashamed to call myself a music aficionado, and I got that wrong. That's exactly She
Tammy Wynette was Stand By Your Man, I think.
Same era, I think, but Anyway, Coal Miner's Daughter. That's correct. Thank you, Jen.
So while we're talking about our one thing, I want to throw it over to you for the one thing. But while we're talking about that, I do want to remind everybody, we are taking questions. We are asking for your questions to contribute to the conversation. Ask anything that you want about snakes, about life, about business, about me, about Adam, whatever. If you want to talk about the new construction, how that's going along, ask a question about that, whatever. Just go ahead and ask questions and we'll talk about it. It's your show today.
Have you ever seen the meme it was actual video. It was a real thing. It was Alec Baldwin, and I guess he was doing like a guest radio spot or something. And I think it was like, at the risk of like opening this can of worms, I think it was on like there was a time when like liberal, like talk radio is almost always like conservative bent, and like there was like they were gonna have like a liberal bent radio, and Alec Baldwin was like, "All right, we're ready to take some calls," and like it was nothing. There was nothing whatsoever, and that's not about liberal or conservative. It's just why I'm like, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna have topics anyway.
I'm very impressed that you. So you asked me, earlier this week, and that's true because it was earlier this week.
That's factually
you asked
true,
me,
yeah.
are there any topics that you want to talk about? And I said a few different topics and then one of them was this.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed that and I was kind of excited about this. I'm impressed that you went you went for it. You went because it was in a list of other topics.
I'm working on trust, embracing collaboration, trying new things. This is a whole new era. It's a new day for Adam today. This is what I'm working on. All right, I see the question, Elias. We're gonna get there in just a second. We got one in the bag, one that we can work up to. We'll build the tension towards that, Joe. You could think it over for a minute.
I think I have the first thing that comes to mind, but let's go with your one thing, man.
Perfect. It's nothing earth shattering other than I got one of the topics I was like toying with was like when I think it was last week, but maybe the week before. No, probably last week when we talked about like winding down or taking a break or not taking a break. You felt like what I did was not a break, but we attempted to get through that topic. Well, this week feels like ramping right back up. And I thought of you this week because one of the things I had to do yesterday in the ramp up was my taxes. And there are people in the world, and I don't like managing people that do this, that make their life complicated just for the sake of their egos. They're like, well, we could do this, this, and this, and then this will be taken care of, and this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, or just do the thing here that already exists. You don't have to manage 19 things to impress yourself when the thing is right there. And I have to admit, I feel like I've done a little bit of that in my business.
Oh, really?
It's incredibly convoluted. And there was definitely a time when I was talking with and I didn't create this structure. I don't know enough. I'm not educated enough in tax law and accounting tax law to know why this stuff is beneficial. But the convoluted way that my world and business structure is set up, part of me wonders if I've just done all this to have like a little trinket, like a little trophy for myself to be like, look how complicated I am. I must be good at what I do. What do they call them? Like Rube Goldberg machines or whatever, or like, like the really complicated mousetrap when you're like, or you could just buy the little wooden thing with a spring and smack it.
Yeah. So you're saying that you've made it more complicated because you do your own taxes?
No, I don't do hell no, I don't do my own taxes.
All right. But
there's a little part of me
go.
Like if I'm trying, like say you and I are talking and you're like, oh, what do you do? I could be like, hey, I breed reptiles, or I could be like, well, I got a few things going on. I own a holding company. That is a consulting management company that actually works for other people, but it actually owns a couple other businesses under its umbrella. And so there's an S Corp that owns a couple LLCs, and I'm in the process of transferring my assets from a self-employed independent. Now I've lost all the words. What I'm saying is it's almost like coach speak at a press conference after a game,
Right.
So you're saying that they just shoved Jalen Hurts in the ass and made a touchdown? You could just say that rather than,
Right. I got you.
So it's all true, but I was just sitting there and I'm like, what? There's a joke by Nate Bargatze. I think he's trying to buy a coffee or a donut or something. And he's like, can we just do this the old fashioned way? Like, can I just make money and pay taxes on what I make? How about we just do it that way?
Well, it's good that you got your taxes done. That's good.
They're not done. Good. That's the other part.
Oh.
We have to reconvene in another week.
Okay, got you.
To take my cynicism out of it. All of what I said is true. So there's an S Corp that is my consulting company that owns a couple of the LLCs. One of the LLC is Proper Royals. The other one is Hometown Shine, the car wash. Proper Royals had assets that were Joe, help me out here. What happens when you spread them out over? They were depreciating, and we have to make sure that we do this the right way, because as a self-employed individual is where those assets were located and depreciating. We need to get those assets into either an S Corp or either the LLC owned by the S Corp or into the S Corp. So did the S Corp buy those assets from Adam? Is there some form to transfer assets? What's the right way to do this? What are the benefits, the ins and outs, the positives and negatives, the circles and arrows on the color glossy photographs? We're going to have to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah. And when did you, you bought the building in 24, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
December 12th. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a factor, isn't it?
Yeah. Bullish brings up a good point. I think I convoluted two jokes. The Mitch Hedberg joke, he buys a donut and they ask him if he wants a receipt. And he says, I can't imagine a scenario in which I would need to prove that I bought this donut. How about I give you the money, you give me the donut? That's I convoluted two jokes. And the Nate Bargatze one it's a complicated, thing to order coffee in Starbucks. He's like, can we just do this the old fashioned way? And I forget the ins and outs of that. But the Mitch Hedberg one, you're exactly right. I worship at the house of Hedberg. The guy's amazing. If you guys don't, I'm gonna file it under D in case I ever need this paperwork. That's right. But the point and the message remains like, how about I make money, top line gross, I have expenses, what's left is my net, I pay a percentage of my net. And if I've already paid more than that into the system, you give it back to me. If I haven't, I owe you a little bit, and off we go.
Yeah. And then you have the S Corp election, right? So so usually when there's an S Corp election, you need to do a reasonable compensation for payroll, right? Is that what you do?
I have no idea. I don't know. I send all my I send all my paperwork to the dude, and he does walk. I mean, I ask him what we're doing, and how it works and all that. The S Corp is owned by myself and Kelly. I'm a managing operator of some sort. I'm an owner operator, whereas Kelly's only owner. And I believe that there's two different tax scenarios for an owner operator that does in fact need a salary, whereas just the owner could get distributions and they'd be taxed differently.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe my salary is very low, is really what I think it is. Here's the reality of it. And actually that's a fair point, Joe. It's a fair point because what you do for a living, so you don't need me to tell you that. There's not enough net profit for any kind, like, it's not unreasonable that my salary is $5,000 because the net that's probably 20% of the net profit of these businesses. So it's not going to come under very much scrutiny. If the day comes that I'm netting six figures, then I'm going to have to come up with a reasonable salary that I pay.
Right. So for the S Corp, if you have an S Corp, and this is just my understanding of it for the people who are listening. If you have an S Corp,
I claim no understanding.
There's a one of the requirements is that the workers get a reasonable compensation for what they do. So you set that reasonable compensation. There's payroll taxes that you pay on that,
right?
And then there's payroll, and then there's taxes that are taken from that for the employees. So there's two different entities. There's the employee and the owner, and then above that, then the owner can draw profit from it without it being taxed. So that would be the benefit of, well, without it being double taxed,
Right.
Because ultimately it will be taxed on your personal income, but it's not double taxed as a business income. So I mean, talk about making things more complicated than they need to be.
Actually, there's and one of the good things about like the open line Thursday is that we can fish for future topics. So I think we should put it in the future can of the fine art of overcomplicating stuff unnecessarily.
All right. What else? What other questions do we have? So there are a few questions that are out there, and I think I'm getting a lot of the. So what's the craziest thing that happened?
We got to put a bow tie. We got to put a bow on that last topic.
Okay.
Really quick.
Yeah. Go for it.
First, thank you for explaining that, guys. If you want any true content this morning, that last 30 seconds from Joe is probably the best value that you're going to get. But all this convoluted thing, I'll tell you where it came from, Joe. Last year, 2024, I thought I was sort of winding down consulting, not by my own choice, and another job or another project came floating down the river. And it got very busy, and I didn't make a huge amount of money. I'll be a little bit transparent on this. On that particular project, that swayed the income probably about $25,000. So not like earth-shattering, but helped make up some lost salary I was used to making. I definitely took the project, and that was a good 4, 5, 6 month kind of deal. I hadn't talked to my tax guy. And he gets going, and then all of a sudden at the end, there was this he was like, all right, we're done. And I said, no, I got this 1099. He goes, oh, how much is that for? I said, $25,000 or whatever it was. And like, if there was a cartoon of like steam and smoke and eyeballs spinning, he was furious. And I said the words to him. I said, Jacob, you can't get mad at me for making money and figuring out how to be successful. He goes, of course I'm not. He goes, you have to let me know if you're going to make this kind of money. And I said, why? And it was for exactly what you just said, Joe. He said, you're going to pay tax on the income. You're going to pay tax as the employer. So most people, when they're employed, their employer pays half of their employment taxes. He goes, you got to pay both of those. He goes, you're going to end up, you just delivered yourself like several $1,000 and several like $6,000-$7,000 tax surprise because you didn't give me a heads up. He goes, there's ways to handle this. And I was like, oh, so that is at that moment was when it was, all right, we need to set this stuff up as as the convoluted way that we did for all the reasons that you just gave.
Right.
I couldn't give. So now say that the S Corp owns that company, the consulting company. If all I netted for the whole year, let's just throw some numbers out. If all I netted for the whole year was $35,000, but several people own it, and then it owns some other entities that, for example, the car wash was a loser last year, then it starts to say it's under one umbrella, and my personal tax burden as the employee at the very low salary, if you're only netting 35 grand, you're not going to pay somebody 60 grand or 100 grand. It just doesn't happen. That doesn't work that way. Yeah. So my salary will have to go up commensurately as I earn more.
That's time. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because the more that your business grows, the more compensation that it becomes reasonable.
Right. Yeah. And unreasonable. They're not going to go, hey, you can't live on a $5,000 salary, pal. Yeah. We get that you're the owner, but at some point you do have to eat and all that other stuff. Yeah. So that is what went into it. And I'm glad that you clarified that. And that's why I was I'm actually not joking about that content piece you gave.
But also, S Corps are not for everybody. There's a certain dollar amount where it begins to make sense. and that dollar amount is, it factors in how many owners there are and things like that. So it's not for everybody, but it is a good way to not be taxed on some of the draw that an owner can take from the company.
Yeah, and I'll give the disclaimer I always do: talk to your tax professional. I do not fully understand the ins and outs of this stuff. I have a pretty good handle of what's going on in my world and my business, but I have no idea how it applies to each individual out there. But I am a huge advocate of getting a tax person, especially even if you're not even making money yet. All those depreciation stuff for your upfront expenses, you don't get that back if you don't get it on the books from the start. So those racks are very expensive, and you might want that deduction when you can take it down the line when you're actually making some money and you actually have a tax bill. Mm-hmm. There you go. There's your one thing. All right, Joe, let's do some questions from the audience. What do you, craziest thing from Elias, craziest thing you ever seen as a teacher? I believe Elias is also a teacher. So you can all empathize with each other. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, there's things that happen in the classroom that aren't coming to mind. The thing that comes to mind, though, is that I was teaching religion courses. It was a comparative religion course at St. Leo University, and we would have a lot of the students were. I was teaching a night course, so it was like weekly. And it was just 8 weeks, so it'd be like a 4-hour class or something. Like that.
Those were. I took one of those once a week courses. I was like, this is the business. 3 hours of a history senior level seminar with like 7 people in the class. You couldn't even like nod off. Like you're sitting in a circle staring at each other.
You can't hide. You can't hide.
It's terrible. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we would have a lot of times, and St. Leo has a great relationship with the military, and so a lot of students were adult military students who had jobs, and they were required to take a religion course at a religious institution like St. Leo University. So a lot of times when people came in, it was just kind of like, I'm disarming them first because they don't want to be there. And they're like, why do I have to take this course?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're forced into the class. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I had somebody who did a couple of deployments in the Middle East, not the Mideast, not Chicago, but
they're deployed to Omaha. It's tough out there.
When we did our discussion, there's a book review that they needed to do about and it was based on Islam. So, and it's about the story of growing up in Islam, and he wrote the book review, and part of the book review is analysis, and part of the book review is what's your reaction, and he had a very, very visceral reaction because what his experience of Islam was very militant Middle East
tied Islam, to his experience,
which is, I mean, Middle East Islam, that's where it started, but the majority of Muslims actually live outside of the Middle East. So but his perception of it was, so he read this book, and at the end of the book review, he wrote, I hated this book so much that I built a fire in my backyard and I burnt this book. For some reason, that was so, I was reading it in my house, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." So, I mean, there was a certain understanding, and he had a certain reaction. But I thought that was kind of that to me was like, wow, I can't believe that there was a book burning because of a class that
you gave. That's right. Are you allowed to divulge the grade that you gave this student? Was it a well-crafted paper? Did he state his arguments and his beliefs?
Yeah. It was a well-crafted paper. I don't know. Like, and as a teacher, you can't really, you're asking for an opinion.
Right. You got to grade to the rubric, not whether you like it or not. Right. Yeah.
So, and you know, what turned out with the student was we had further discussions. He would come into class, and for that particular class, he was very vocal. But at the end of the course, he wrote me an email, and I still, like, when I apply to full-time teaching positions, I still include his email because he said he loved the course so much.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good outcome.
Yeah.
That's a better outcome than a funeral pyre for the book.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit. There was certainly his perspective of what he saw, and then he was able, through our discussions, to kind of widen and go, okay, I see that there are other types of Muslims in the world.
Well, then I would judge that as success, although I realize that's not the point of the class. There was not a anyway. Okay. Yeah, that beats what I don't have any in-class teaching experience, so that would beat mine. Joe, if you were to name a gene, what would you name it? That is from Pope County Pythons, I believe.
What would I name a gene? Well, Gene's a good name, but I'd probably go
Gene.
with.
Did you? Speaking of Gene being a good name, did you hear that Gene Hackman and his wife were found gone?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
And their dog. I gotta say, it sounds like carbon monoxide to me.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they haven't released a cause, but yeah, that's true as of this morning. Sorry, that was some breaking news.
Oh my gosh! I don't know how I'm going to continue.
All right. So we're naming a gene, but we're not going to call it Gene.
Well, in honor of the Hackmans, I'd call it the Hackman gene.
Well, I gotta say, the Hackman sounds pretty good.
Hackman's a great name.
Oh, what if it was a super Hackman?
That would be incredible. Now, okay, let's see. Gene
and she Hackman. Oh man, super Hackman and she. Yeah, it's not bad. Hackman's pretty good, I gotta say. Most gene names are pretty dumb. That's not bad.
So what are the dumbest gene names that are out there?
Like Daddy, Special. You're going to call every snake a special? Just now I have to explain to every customer. No, it's just called special. It's not actually special.
I think this is is this a conversation that that a lot of people have? Like, you're trying to discover a gene, correct?
Yeah, it would be like trying to name a new color. Like, all right, what are you going to name a new color? I don't know. It all sounds stupid the first time around.
Right. Yeah.
Except for Hackman. But yeah, there's like, then there's some things that we get really confused about. I think you followed a little bit. One copy of a recessive gene we call a het, but there's a dominant gene that we call het xanthic that technically is correct because it's a heterozygous literally only means one copy. It's independent of it being recessive or dominant or codominant. And it just confuses people. And we make these convoluted things in this world when all somebody wants to buy is a good looking ball python. And you're trying to explain to them what it may or may not be special in life, but it's called special. And God forbid you had a special het xanthic and it would just, and it's not xanthic either. That's the other stupid thing. So yeah, there's a lot of really stupid gene names.
Lothar. It was a nickname of mine from high school.
Oh, where did that sound? I need to hear that. What the heck is Lothar?
I don't know. I was a big burly hill person.
Have there been other burly hill people in the past? Is that what you? Now I have to ask you this because Charlie Ryan from Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons one time. This is probably not a healthy thing to study, but I've discovered that every culture has like another culture that they make fun of. So, Florida Gators, we make fun of people from Tennessee. But Charlie was saying he's from New Jersey and he said he's from South Jersey. And according to everybody else in the northern part of Jersey, he may as well be from the hills of West Virginia. Is West Virginia where Lothar would have come? Is that tie into the same thing? Is that
it was like some kind of
are the hills of West Virginia the Jersey like
It was a weird
other?
SNL sketch that
Oh,
it was a weird that I don't know, I quoted a bunch or something like that, and it just kind of stuck. I don't know. So Lothar was something but it's funny that you say that there's a local word that was used when I was a kid to make fun of people from a certain part of town. And actually, it's not like, I don't want to say it, but it is a very local word. Did you have local words that in like Jacksonville where you that you used or was like completely used in that area?
yeah, or like a part of town. So yeah, like and of course it's been totally like gentrified and all of that. But yeah, we would talk about people from Mayport. That was the trashy part. And to Mayport's credit, Mayport's where the trashy white people lived. So like, but it was also the military. It's the military base. It's become very nice now. But yeah, if you were from Jack's Beach, the mailing address for Mayport was Atlantic Beach, so you could get away with like if you needed like a taxi ride or like you needed a ride from the bar. Like I remember one time somebody was like, "Yeah, this dude was like, can you give me a lift out to Atlantic Beach?" I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "You son of a, you're taking me to Mayport. I'm not driving through Mayport at 2:33 in the morning. There's cops everywhere, man. I can't drive here right now."
I see.
Yeah.
The name, I guess I can use it. I don't know. It was a certain like. It's funny that you say trashy white people. That's what it was. That was what this word was.
So what was the Mayport of Philly?
And it was all, and it's not Philly, so it's like 2 hours north of Philadelphia in the Poconos. So it was a word. The word was Cutterman.
Cutterman. Okay. Yeah, I would not. Yeah. That's a regional dialect there. And
there was all different versions like Cud, Cuddy. That's Cuddy.
Oh, I see. Oh, we didn't have the short, but yeah, it's full Mayport. We didn't have a shorter one. We had, I can't believe it, our like end of the night big finish at the pub for the band there was a song that was called "I Love the Mayport Girls," and you would sing it, and it was this call and response thing. "I love the Mayport girls." The whole crowd would say, "I love the Mayport," and it was something like, I love that you were born in a trailer. I love that you will die in a trailer. I love the Mayport girls. Yeah.
Bad, man.
The first time I met you, I can remember those pretty Mayport eyes. You took me by the hand. You made me a man. Please don't break this poor heart of mine. That's what it is. I love the Mayport girls. That was it. And then Adam would rip a solo over. It was like a country song, like a spoof country song that we would do about the Mayport girls.
Really incredible, like the things that like communities do to create an other, and so that they become more solidified.
Yeah,
and then they go, "This is us, and that's them," and you're from almost the same exact place.
It's the same place. Yeah. Mayport was, you hear the expression, a stone's throw. I can't throw a stone very far. I could throw a stone to Mayport from where we were singing that song. And it was like embracing it. Spade lived in Mayport. So it was, it was a tongue in cheek thing. But my grandparents are from Canada. And so I spent my summers in New Brunswick growing up. And in New Brunswick, they make fun of people from Newfoundland, Newfies. There's like a whole like series of Newfie jokes about like the dumb kid from Newfoundland.
Yeah,
they're not dumb. I like Newfies. They're people from Newfoundlanders. Newfoundland. I can't even say it. Newfoundlanders.
Right. We've kind of gone off the rails here a little.
We have gone off the rails here. There was another question. While you're looking that up, though, let me share this with everybody. Guys, this is coming up on April 4th, the Epic Conference. Check it out. It's pretty cool.
It's called Epic, the Exotic Pet Industry Conference, and it's free to register at epic.live. Epic is over 20 special guests across 16 sessions covering industry trends, marketing, branding, podcasting, and YouTube. Epic is for pet keepers and breeders. It's for gecko and invert lovers. It's for snake and spider lovers. Epic is for anyone who enjoys these amazing animals. Did I mention it's free? Register now at epic.live.
We have final lineups, final announcements, final schedule coming out soon. So keep posted on Epic. Go register if you haven't. I don't know why you would miss out. It's a Friday evening, April 4th. It's completely free. Industry leaders across 5 different industry tracks. It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I will announce the 3rd YouTube presenter. Like I say, we have the final announcements coming up very shortly. Joe, if you were going to order some rodents, where'd you get them?
Oh, no doubt. It'd be Cold Blooded Cafe.
Right. Proper 11. You're going to get 11% off too. And even if you had used it recently, you could use it again because the code's been reset. Get yourself another 11% off, guys. Cold Blooded Cafe, they're all that I use. Very fresh. Very clean. I had a meme going through my very fresh, very clean. Cold Blooded Cafe. That is who I choose for my rodents. I think you'll enjoy the experience. You do have to have your email when you log in, and you can use the promo code proper11. I've heard it's challenging on a phone, so use your desktop or laptop when you place the order. Proper 11 will go smoothly after that. And of course, Husbandry Pro. It's breeding season. How are you going to keep track of all your genetics and genealogy and family trees, all of that? Plus, you can make your labels, your QR codes. You could transfer information to customers. They have a marketplace if you want to sell there. It's incredible. I can't even get to all of the features. I've only scratched the surface on Husbandry Pro, and I've been at it. April will be a year that I've been using it, and I still do use it. Oh, what do we got coming up here, Joe? All right, what homework you been doing? What do you need an understanding on, an explanation on?
So
the question.
The question is favorite combo: DG Clown, DG Pied, or Clown Pied?
Oh, who asked this one?
So this is Snakes for the Memories.
Okay, all right, very good.
I think
Jeremy and Holly. You've met. We've hung out.
Sure. Oh yeah. So I googled DG Clown Ball Python. What would represent which of these images would represent the DG Clown Ball Python?
Well, they're a little bit fuzzy on the screen, so I can't quite see all the pattern. But if you go do the middle one on the left.
Okay, the middle one on the left, like here.
Sorry, the other. Yeah, the screen left. The dark that one. So that looks like from a distance, probably like a leopard enchi clown. And then DG would go on top of it. So DG is a contrasting gene. Can you click on that so we can actually see this thing? People on phones are really squinting right now. Yeah, that one looks pretty good.
Okay. So that would represent that. Okay.
Well, DG is called Desert Ghost. It's a it changes some of the melanin, so it makes some blacks pop, and it makes some of the lighter colors even lighter. So it really adds contrast. So sometimes DG, you need 2 snakes next to each other to really appreciate DG, one with and one without. But that's a pretty striking clown. Like that would catch my eye at a trade show of like, that's a good looking animal. I like high contrast, really changed pattern. Now, some people like busier snakes in that. I like the really clean look of that.
Okay. Now the second one is DG Pied then.
Yeah.
So which one of these would represent DG Pied the best?
Well, again, from a distance, hard to tell. How about top middle? That orange looks like it's really popping. DG will left. There you go. That one. So yeah. So look how orange. That's a pretty good example of a DG Pied. So those oranges normally would be a little bit browner, a little bit more sort of autumn burnt orange color. That bright orange is the we say DG and another gene called hypo are kind of like the glaze on a donut. Like it's not going to change the donut. It's not going to, it's not going to change it does change the appearance slightly, but it's the thing that you put on top. And that's a good example of DG really brightening that. And that's a recessive gene as well.
Okay. And then the last one is clown pied.
Okay, I like me some clown pied. Clown pied's interesting because everybody in the audience will tell you that the price, factually, the prices on clown pieds have dropped significantly. It's double recessive. It's very time consuming to make. It made a very big pop, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, very expensive snake. And now the market on it has kind of fallen out, but I would argue that it fell out because nobody worked extra genes into it. Sure, the base clown pieds are kind of toast financially, but the opportunity for clown pieds is sky high. So I'm a big fan. Let's check out the one in the top right corner. Let's see what's going on there. It looks like there's 3 clown pieds there.
This one here.
Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty cool. So Joe, you're right about piebald. You got the creamy section, you got the patterned section. But if you look at the heads on those animals, those are clearly clown head stamps and head patterns that get really cleaned up. There's no stripe behind the eye. You got that nice big patch of like clean, high contrast area on those snakes. Those are very good examples of clown. Those might have, those have DG as well. See how bright and creamy kind of color those are, almost glaze. Those have DG top. Those are triple, what we call triple recessives. Very, very difficult to make.
So the question is, if we were to choose which one we liked the best, and this is just visually what we see. I'm kind of like, so what would be the difference here and here? The heads? Yeah.
So look at that. And no, go back to the other picture with the 3. Look at that animal on the left hand of that one right there. That's a really great example of contrast, color, and pattern reduction. So look at that head compared to the other one, the regular pied. The other picture, excuse me.
Yeah. It's this one.
That one versus the other picture. So that one has a very classic ball python head. It's just kind of that big dark splotch. That one probably has a little bit of pastel in it because it washes out and blushes out in the middle. It's got that kind of pop of yellow in the middle. But generally, a regular old ball python head is just sort of that brown on top versus the other picture you just had up.
And the clown is specifically about the head of the ball python, or no?
Well, yes and no. It's one of the components of it. The other component would be a very stark change in pattern and a reduction in pattern and a heightened pattern on the dorsal, but pied blows all that up. So pieds, you pretty much get a clown head with a pied body.
Okay. All right. So the question is, this looking snake, which one do I appreciate more? Would be, I'd appreciate the DG clown.
Oh, pretty striking there, huh? Yeah. And like I said, there's other genes in there. Off the top of my head, I would guess that's a leopard Enchi DG clown if I were to make a educated guess.
Okay.
So there's more to it in there, but those are very cool animals. So yes.
I don't know if I'm looking at, I think all of these examples seem more striking than DG pied and the clown pied to me. If these are actually DG clown.
They probably are. I don't know why they wouldn't be. Just for your own benefit and understanding, on another tab, just click normal ball python.
All right.
And then you'll see like, this is a really great example of why we breed and what we breed for.
Right. Yeah.
So like one of those in the top middle, great example.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So normal ball python, that's what you get. Really cool animal. I love them. I still get excited thinking about the first ones that I ever bought. I was so happy to have them. Yeah. But imagine starting with that and then ending up on any of those pictures you were just looking at. Like that's the sandbox that we get to play in. Yeah, could you imagine? Cool. Like that's cool unreal, right?
It is a cool way to put it. Yeah. To start with this or to start with this.
Yeah.
And to go to one of these. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody along the way, and many somebodies along the way went, hey, there's a little something different that I'm seeing in this animal. Let me try. Imagine this process. Let me try and grow this up for 3 years and then breed it and isolate what that gene is, and then wait another 2-3 years and breed it again and see if we can make a super form of it. And suddenly these things like clown started. Yeah, it's I mean, the process is so long and so dedicated. I'm blown away that we ever made it to this point. Look at that thing right there.
Right.
That actually, I mean, what is that? That is a yellow belly DG clown. Gosh, I thought there was more than just yellow belly DG. I mean, pastel as well is in there, I think. Anyway, incredible stuff, right, Joe?
Well, yeah, it is. It is. It kind of blows me away. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I start to look at these, yes, it's incredible. But and my reaction to that question is, yes, DG Clown is my favorite, most striking looking ball python to me.
Well, you just haven't seen the others yet. I mean, there's more. There's always more. Next show, I'll show you around. We got to get you to a show sometime soon too, man.
Yes. Do need to do that. And it would be great to go to the Tampa. I should probably look and see when the next Tampa Repticon is.
Yeah, just last weekend. Yeah, actually 4 or 5 days ago it was. So the next one won't be for a few months.
Oh, okay. 4 or 5 days ago? Oh,
yeah, I think it was last weekend.
Let's see. Well, I guess we're up against the
we are up against it. I actually have a busy morning. I've got some meetings. I have 2 meetings, but in between them, I have to thread the needle to get up to FedEx and pick up a delivery and get back in time and then look professional again to get paid for. What exciting you got coming up this week, Joe?
I'm going to Tennessee actually tomorrow because
speaking of Mayport.
No, I'm excited because Aiden's got a soccer tournament up there. So.
Oh, wow. Cool. All right. Yeah. Good luck on that. Good luck to Aiden. Where in Tennessee?
Gatlinburg.
Okay. That's a fun place, actually. East Tennessee, huh?
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I love North Georgia, Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, as I say, you got Smoky Mountains National Park right there. It's one of my favorite places in the world for all I just said.
I've never been.
Tennessee.
I've never been to Gatlinburg, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's good stuff. Good.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got coming up this week?
I'm excited. We're getting there. The mud and the tape go on the sheetrock in the car wash starting Monday, and a week from Monday, the epoxy floor goes down, and we're gonna have some glamour shots. It's gonna be time for move in here. We're gonna pick up the pace here pretty quick. I finally got. The pieces in place. The dominoes are whatever the opposite of dominoes falling would be. Like things are going to fall in line here real fast, man.
Oh, good. That's exciting, man. I'm excited for you.
So,
all right. Thanks.
Updates
everybody.
coming. Fun, successful open line, Thursday.
Successful, right?
No, it was very fun. Actually, I like the idea of just hanging out sometimes. Like, I guess not everything has to be work, right?
Yes. That's good. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for bailing us out, audience. Cheers, guys.